Hi everyone, I am here today to share a little bit about my packing process for a 1-week trip to Eastern Canada. Hubby and I are going to Nova Scotia, and this will be our first time flying since before the pandemic. We are bringing our dog Lulu though, so that adds a little bit of complication. We will have 2 carry-on bags between us. We'll have Lulu and I'll have my purse, but really I'm going to be bringing a small backpack. So that's kind of the parameters of our trip. In the past couple of years, we've only done road trips, so packing for a flight is feeling a bit, I'm feeling a little bit of unease there. So I'm trying to be really thoughtful about what I'm bringing. It is Wednesday as I'm recording this video, and hubby and I will be flying out on Saturday, so we're a few days out. The first thing I do is check the weather forecast because that is going to be a huge factor in what I bring on this trip, particularly with clothing. The weather in Nova Scotia can be quite unpredictable, so I always take the forecast with a grain of salt. We are expected to have mostly sunny weather with a few spots of rain here and there, so I will need to pack layers, rain gear, and all of that good stuff to make sure I stay warm and dry throughout the trip. The next thing I do is I think about what we're going to be doing on this trip. I have gone ahead and set the itinerary for the most part. That's one part of vacation that really excites me, is the planning part. It's almost as good as the vacation itself because I love to do research and planning for things that we might want to do during our trip. So all of that has pretty much been mapped out, and this trip is going to be very casual and very low key. So we're not doing any fancy dinners, although we are having some nice meals. We don't have any events that we're going to or anything like that. It's really a casual sightseeing trip. Lots of driving around, hiking, walking around in the city, window shopping, going to eateries and restaurants and things of that nature, but there are no dress codes and we don't need to pack anything fancy. So once I kind of have the weather and the activities in mind, I go ahead and I take a look at my packing list template. I've got kind of like a master packing list with anything I could ever imagine bringing on a trip. I make a copy of the sheet and then I start customizing it for my current trip. So this trip I am trying to pack pretty minimally, so I'm going to be cutting out a lot of things that I don't need, but I really love this master list because it reminds me of things that I might not have thought of for this trip. Once I've gone ahead and cut out the items that I don't need for this trip, I'll go ahead and I'll start filling in some details, and specifically with clothing. I'll start to list out the actual pieces of clothing that I want to bring, and then I'll go ahead and I'll pull a few things and I'll try them on. So I do like to try on pretty much all of my outfits before I go away because I have in the past brought things that didn't really go well together. When I don't try stuff on, I'm often disappointed by the outfits that I have, even though I like the individual pieces. So I do go ahead and try everything on, and as I mentioned, since this is going to be a very casual trip, I actually pulled out a lot of my hoodies and sweatshirts, and I'm going to spend the entire time in leggings pretty much. I also think it'll be a fun change of style because I actually don't wear my university hoodies and other sorts of garments very often at all. I generally do all of this when I have a spot of time around a week out from the trip, so I like to have a sense of what I'm bringing, and I know I don't need to do this until the last minute, but as I mentioned before, the planning process really is fun for me. So I like to do this around 1 week out, but not too far in advance because the forecast is so unpredictable. So we've pretty much gotten to the point where we are in this video. I've checked the weather, I have our itinerary, I've customized the packing list, and I've also tried on the clothing items that I plan to bring. So in the next couple of days before we fly out, I will do things like laundry. I'll double check the weather, of course, especially if it has changed. I will go ahead and tweak, replacing items, maybe trying things on again, but just little tweaks at this point. The day before, once I've done the laundry, I will go ahead and pack the suitcase. I will pretty much be done packing the carry-on itself, but I'll save my backpack for pretty much the day of. I will gather things and put them in the general area where we are packing, which is just behind this couch in the living room. We don't have a lot of space. And then I'll reserve kind of like the last minute things for the day we actually fly out. So this would include beauty products that I might be using in the morning, so I'll use them and then I'll go ahead and pack them immediately after. The way I check things off in Google Sheets is I just highlight them in a different color. So once things are packed, I'll go ahead and highlight them in green, and then I check the list, both the packing side and the to-do list side, to make sure everything is green before we walk out the door. Here is what I ended up packing for a 1-week trip to Nova Scotia. I brought a carry-on and a backpack. At the top, I just tucked in a shawl or like a giant scarf in the handles, and it stayed put really nicely. And then the little pink thing on the side is Lulu's water bottle. All I have in the front pocket are some poop bags for Lulu, her leash and harness, as well as some napkins that I picked up along the way. Here's what everything looks like inside. This mesh bag has some electronic cords and plugs and things. I've already taken some out to use. This had a few more things in it, but it wasn't completely full. These are my liquids and gels that I brought onto the flight with me that I had to put through the x-ray. So I've just got my cleansers and creams and serums. Then I have this pouch, which houses kind of like my daily essentials. I bring this with me day to day in Toronto as well, so it was just convenient to pack the entire thing into my backpack. It's got lip balm in it, some mints, tissues, some cough drops, and that sort of thing. Then I have my fanny pack. This is also by Fjallraven Kanken, and I will use this day to day as my purse. I didn't actually bring a purse on this trip because it is such a casual vacation. I'll set the fanny pack aside because there is some stuff in there, and I'll go through that as well. I've got my sunglasses and my laptop. In the back pouch, I've got our passports and my keys. And that is all I have in my backpack. My fanny pack doesn't have a whole lot in it. It's basically the repeat of what I have in here, because when I bring my fanny pack around with me in Toronto, I don't bring this pouch. So it's got some lip balm, some tissues, some mints, and some drops in case I get a tickle in my throat. Next, we'll open up this carry-on and take a look at what's inside. So here we've got my bullet journal as well as a notepad that I use for morning pages. Then we have this bag, which houses my dental care, my makeup, and my other toiletries that aren't liquids and gels. Here's what that looks like in case you're curious. I have a brush roll just tucked inside, and then I've got my Naked Basics palette and my powder. That's basically all the makeup I brought. I went, again, very minimal for this trip. In this middle pouch here, I've got some cotton swabs and band-aids. I've got some just-in-case pills like Reactin, Tylenol, and all of that. Then I've got my dental care and my Diva cup on this side because I am going to be getting my period on this trip. Moving right along, I usually keep all my clothing on this side, but because it was full, I put my sleepwear on this side. So I've just got the pants in a thin layer on top. And then with this comes a long sleeve shirt as well. So I just tucked that into the corner there. Then I have this little baggie, which has my face masks and also my sleep mask. I've got an umbrella. This is the charger for my toothbrush, my electric toothbrush. These are my Crocs in a separate plastic bag. In this packing cube, I have my bathing suit, a bra, and some panties. I've got a pencil case with the items that I need to write in my bullet journal. Then I've got this pouch, which houses all of my hair care items, my dry shampoo, a brush, headbands, and clips. I've got a few extra baggies here. So I've got 2 plastic bags and I've got a reusable shopping bag. And then I have my GHD flat iron. So that's it for this side. Let's open up this side. Because the weather is pretty unpredictable here, I packed a lot of layers. So I've got this sweatshirt in a really pretty coral color, which I don't wear enough. It's a Dalhousie sweatshirt, and I don't often wear things with logos, so that's part of the reason. Then I've got 3 packing cubes. This one here has all of my socks. Hi, Lulu. Good girl. And then I've got a smaller packing cube here. In this packing cube, I have a nightgown. I've got this, which is a tank top that I wear with my sleep set. If I'm warm, I'll wear the tank top. If I'm cold, I'll wear the long sleeve shirt that goes with my loungewear set. These two are heat tech shirts. This is a thinner one, this is a thicker one. And then on the end, I have 2 pairs of black leggings. And now we are down to the final packing cube. This one was really stuffed because it has some of my thicker layers. So I've got a warm long sleeve top on the end. It's pretty thick. It's got like a high neck, but not a turtleneck. That's in a light gray. Then also in gray, I have a little turtleneck sweater. I've got 2 zip ups. This one is more of like a sporty material. It doesn't have a hood, but it has a high neck. And then this one here has a hood and it's more of that fleece material, so sweatshirty type material. Both of these are from Dalhousie. And then I've also got this windbreaker type coat that I got from my days at the Schulich School of Business. So this was from my university days, my bachelor's degree, and I never wear it, so I thought I would take it out for this trip. That is everything I packed for a week out in Nova Scotia.